Worth pointing out that in the 2010 midterms, women voted Republican 49% of the time compared to 48% of the time for Democrats. Very different than we saw in the Obama-Romney split. So where's this debate going as we head toward the midterms?
Well, I would say that at this point, it's really the question is whether we can whether the Democrats are able to turn out young women, women of color in particular, who have been crucial to victories for Democrats in the past, and those tend to be demographics that don't turn out in the midterm elections. So I think part of this conversation is saying, hey, there's a lot here at stake for you as well. Don't sit this out, because after the 2010 midterm elections, things dramatically changed for women, whether it was in repealing Equal Pay Act the way that Scott Walker did, or whether it was in passing an unprecedented number of restrictions on abortion.
This morning Politico had a big article about this, but it's Republicans trying to counter this, that they've had these meetings, that the RNC has some of their major committees who are getting together today to talk about the pushback on this. And we just heard from Cathy McMorris Rodgers, so let me play that.
Stop politicizing women, and let's start focusing on those policies that are actually going to help women and everyone in this country have a better life. Let's focus on those policies that are actually going to move forward on a jobs plan that will create a higher paycheck, more opportunities, and that opportunity for a better life, which we all want.
Let me play a little bit of the devil's advocate here, Laura, because on the basic facts of the argument, can the Democrats win? Because when you talk to Republicans, what they'll say to you is that they've essentially been stymied by some bad phrases that were said by a few Republicans. But if they stay on the same page in terms of messaging, they think they can win the actual straightforward factual messaging.
Well, let's look at the facts. Women do make 77 cents. Sometimes the estimates go as high as 82 cents, but let's give them that. Let's say the gap is actually 82 cents on the dollar. That's still really bad, and we're talking about the money that women have in their pocketbooks to put dinner on the table, to retire, to pay rent. They have less money than men, and 40% of them are the primary breadwinners of their houses. And so the Democrats are not only trying to push paycheck fairness, they're trying to raise the minimum wage, they're trying to workplace flexibility legislation and other things that would help women's pocketbook. And so regardless of how big the wage gap is, whether Republicans want to say it's a myth or not, or what percentage of it is actually pay discrimination, we do need to have a conversation about why the money in women's pockets is less than the money in men's pockets, and how unfortunate that is for American families.
And it's part of a larger, obviously, a push by the White House and by Democrats, because they think that these economic issues are going to be a big help to them. And again, part of that is the Paul Ryan budget. Here's what